What's up, oddballs? Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bazaar is always on sale. I'm your curator, Kara, accompanied by curator Zach.
Did you forget my name? And this is the podcast where we tell you creepy, odd, weird, strange, bizarro stories from around the globe.
I just didn't have it in me to give you any compliments.
That's fine. I give myself enough.
How are you?
I am good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm glad.
We're in that space between Christmas and New Year's where
The lull.
The days don't matter. Nobody knows what days it is. It just is what it is. But this is our last episode before the end of the year. So
where we burn shit.
Yes. From if you listened to Kara's last week, yes, we're between dead horses and booze stealing and getting ready for burning Satan effigies. Okay. Listen to last week's if you're confused. But what I was going to say is we should probably wish everybody a happy new year. So thank you for taking time out of your busy holiday schedules to listen to us.
Yeah.
Do you have a resolution?
No, but I was kind of thinking of maybe trying to do something with our Patreons of some sort of not a resolution, but something everybody kind of pitches in on what they want to be held accountable. And then maybe we can help each other. Yeah.
Accountability buddies. I love it.
But I don't want it to be I want to go to the gym every day. I mean, it could be. It really could be. But I feel like that's always. But I want it to be I don't feel like I have a place in the world. And so I'm going to start
finding the
volunteering.
Third place.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
There you go.
Volunteering or whatever. I want it to be. Yeah. Honestly, it could be whatever anybody wants. But I was kind of trying to think. So I was trying to brainstorm how we can do the accountability instead of it just being a chat.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to think on it. If you guys have ideas, let us know.
It could just be a chat. Well, yeah, we'll figure it out. But I thought that might be fun or nice or cool, whatever.
We could do little video updates and post everyone's.
That's kind of what I was thinking. If everybody wanted to take a video update and post what their goal was or whatever. And if it be a health journey, if it be a volunteer. And then we kind of a little bit about accountability.
I'm doing my same resolutions from last year because it worked out real damn well for me. January is going to be my month of no again.
Okay.
Where I'm not doing anything on any of the weekends. I'm going to shut my people pleaser down and just say no to things.
I know, but last year you did that and then we didn't do anything for my birthday. So can we do something for my birthday at least?
No, I'm kidding. Yes, we can make an exception for your birthday.
Thanks.
And I'm doing at least the 30 days with no booze again. Last year I went to 100.
Yeah.
We're going to see, but I'm at least committing to 30.
Okay, so you won't even drink on my birthday?
That one I'm going to say no on.
That's fine.
Yes, I'm sticking strong.
I want to have adult sleepover.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't it be fun? Carlo, Shauna.
I'll just bring my edibles.
Yeah, maybe Mel.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. Okay, yeah,
Let's
you can
do
have
it.
your edibles. Okay.
Anyway,
we're ranting. So anything new, important that you want to share with us?
Oh, God. No.
Okay. I do have...
We are... You go on and then I'll save mine for last.
Oh, no. I thought you were just going to move on right into it. Okay. I do have something that I do want to whatever. I know this is we're recording ahead, but I did finally finish reading Dinner for Vampires.
Oh, good. How was it?
Bitch.
Is it the cult we're joining? We decided we're joining a cult because we don't want to make decisions for ourselves anymore.
Yes. Oh, I just got full body chills and I don't want to start crying. It was beautiful. It was so well written. I listened to the audio version, which is told by her, which just makes it even, I think you should read it because you don't have anything. You don't need to know anything about One Tree Hill. I mean, she does touch about it. But you don't have
the premise of the book sounds really interesting.
It is. And I think you and I could maybe not say that we can relate on this, but I think as we've gotten older and we started really understanding true crime and getting into it and then this type of stuff, we have a more appreciation of cults in the way of we understand how you could, I don't want to say fall for that, but how you could be lured in and the promise of the things. And I really do think at one point, both of us could have been lured into something of a cult.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I almost got slicked into the Amway shit.
Yeah. And when I was younger, I just didn't understand. I'm like, that's so stupid. I would never be so dumb to fall for that. And it's horrifying. It is so well written. It's not written to be like a horror novel or like whatever, but it is so heartbreaking. It's crazy and wild of like how you can understand the manipulation. And
interesting.
The wild part about it and the really cool part about it is that she was not cool, but she was in this cult for 10 years. Okay. And she always journaled. So she used her 10 years worth of journals to go back and write this book. So it is so specific to the exact verbiage that was told to her, the exact, I don't know. It's a very, very good read.
She probably didn't understand why, but was like felt called to document it.
Exactly. Wow. And there's parts that I just was crying. I was bawling my eyes out, and it's a very good read. It's well written. And I just think anybody could read it, even if you don't like One Tree Hill or whatever. Like you didn't have to watch it to understand the book. It has nothing really to do with that. It's just that the whole time that she was on One Tree Hill, she was in this cult, and it's just wild. And I even thought, I'm like, well, why would they let her be on a hit TV show, like a quote unquote cult TV show? They were stealing millions of dollars from her.
Oh, I was going to say either monetary or she had influence. So she
made the money.
Wow.
It's so you need to read
I'll definitely have to read it.
It's cool. Good. Okay. That's all I have.
Cool. My last little thing.
Oh, sorry.
Last little thing, just reminding everybody that the next 4 weeks are going to be our throwback episodes while we take a little break. We'll be back at the end of the month, though, with a bonus episode. Maybe an extra episode in there. We haven't fully figured that out yet, but yeah, definitely going to be some throwbacks. But we're just taking a little siesta. We'll be back soon.
But we're not leaving social media. We're not leaving Patreon. We're not leaving all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
We're just not writing and recording.
Okay. Also, really, really quick side note. I know we just said we were going to get into it, but I have to give a huge shout out to my lovely, lovely, lovely roommate, Giulia, who helped me decide to write this episode. And we got to give a little shout out to Carmelo, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But also, Giulia, I also wanted to shout out because I really want her to read that book.
Ever wanted to spend the night ghost hunting in a haunted asylum? Eloise Asylum presents Paranormal Lockdown. On April 5th from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., you can run the asylum. Discover history, haunts, and the secrets of the past, led by Metro Detroit's premier investigators. There's a limited number of tickets to this exclusive event, and it will sell out, so get your tickets today. Use the promo code HUNT and save $5 off each ticket. Paranormal Lockdown, April 5th at Eloise Asylum. Visit EloiseAsylum.com.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Giulia, when you listen to this, this is right after Kara's little book review.
Because I know we've already talked about it, but Giulia does like such an amazing, she creates, how do you describe it?
She does like these beautiful Canva prints out of the book she's reading to make them into like a 1-page report, but it's all themed around the book.
Yes. And she can have like a memory of like what she read and like, it's just beautiful, but also I think she'd really appreciate the book. So shout out to Giulia. Okay. Bye.
Shout out to Giulia. Bye. Now I'm ready to open the shop. Are you ready for a question?
Yes.
Is soup magic?
Soup? Like SOUP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think people would think that it's magic because if you're sick, soup cures. Soup is like a concoction. It's like, you have your cauldron of all your ingredients, your recipes are kind of like what people would put in their grimoire. So I think, yes, I do think that soup is magic.
You make it with the intention of tasting delicious.
Yes!
You put your herbs and spices in there.
Okay.
I don't know. So I was just trying to think of so if soup is magic, would other concoctions be considered magic in witchcraft as well?
I mean, everything. I mean, we kind of touched this on like my little witchy episode, but everything can be like a ritual. It can be magic because if you put intent into it, if you put, your well-being or whatever. So
I asked that because our story doesn't have to deal with witchcraft, but I think if we take that idea into it, we could give a little witchcraft to this. But
okay,
are you ready?
Yeah, I'm excited because I have no idea what's going on.
We know that history is doomed to repeat itself at times.
At times.
And I think currently we all have a little bit of fear about slipping backwards. So instead of giving into the fear, I think we look for hope. We look for ways to fight back. We look for ways to make sure our voices are heard, and we keep our autonomy.
I'm with you, baby.
Now, with that being said, I'm in no way advocating that anybody should do what the person in this story has done. But I think it serves as a really good reminder that when minorities get pushed, the seemingly powerless groups push the fuck back.
A scorned minority. Oh, my favorite tale.
Oh, yeah. So we're going back, and I know it's the day after Christmas. Thank God Kara did a Christmassy one last week. This ain't Christmassy at all.
I don't know if I was really Christmas.
True crimey, but, I think before we head into January, this is the story we need.
Listen, this is my Christmas wish for you to give me a true crime.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh my God, because you never do it.
I hardly do. Oh! And usually there's like a touch of paranormal. No, this one's just straight up badassery. Well,
give it.
I'll let you decide if it's badassery. Okay.
Okay, give it to me.
We're going back to 17th century Italy, so 1600s, during the height of the Renaissance period.
Ooh.
Okay, so I was familiar with the Renaissance period, but not exactly what it means. So thank God for handy dandy Google. I got us a little breakdown.
Okay.
So the Renaissance was a period in European history, primarily spanning the 14th to the 16th centuries, marked by a cultural and intellectual rebirth, where there was a renewed interest in classical Greek and Roman learning, which led to significant advancements in art, architecture, literature, science, philosophy, and bridged the gap between the Middle Ages and modern times. So it's like when we went from medieval castlery to sort of being upstanding human beings. Okay. So we're coming out of the Dark Ages, lots of learning happening, lots of advancement. But one of those places we struggled to advance was maybe in the rights belonging to women.
Oh, really? I would have never thought.
Right? So let's talk about how women are viewed in 1600s Italy.
Do we have to?
Oh, we have to, because it's going to make the rest of this so much more righteous.
Okay.
So women were limited by a patriarchal society and the Catholic Church's moral prescriptions. So women were controlled by their parents in childhood, and then their husbands, who they typically didn't choose. There was a lot of arranged marriages. And if women didn't marry, they would live in either a convent, as like a nun, or the home of a male relative. So even if they didn't marry, they were still controlled. They had limited education. They were discouraged from participating in arts and science. They were denied any sort of political rights. Women also had a limited inheritance. They could only claim... The only claim of her family's inheritance was to be used for their dowry, which is what would go to the husband as a wedding gift.
Mm-hmm.
And women were basically baby makers. So Italian women in this time, from the minute they got married to the minute they couldn't anymore, would just continually have children with a 10% chance of dying in childbirth, which is insane.
I do appreciate anybody nowadays that does not want to get married. They just want to be in a long-term relationship, because marriage was just like what you said. It was just for dowry. It was what you were going to be gifted from. You're basically giving away this burden of having a daughter to somebody, but paying them essentially to take her. And I just don't like that mindset. And so I was kind of as I got older, against marriage in that way. But if you don't think of it that way, I understand it as to why I am married. But I was really kind of against it for a while because of the meaning behind it. Because
at this point in the marriage, you're treated like an object, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So women also, that's Catholic Church, right? They couldn't get divorced. They couldn't choose their own husband. Basically, like we said, they were just there to carry on the bloodline. Now, they could have some economic influence. They did manage families' wealth and income. They were allowed to participate in religion. And some women got power through that.
Were they allowed to, or they had to?
They were allowed to. These are things where they were given some choice. So they could choose to gain power in the church if they didn't want to go the typical route of just staying at home. They could also choose to manage some businesses, but always with male supervision.
Of course.
And they were also allowed to engage in charitable work. So a lot of women would take the business ownership and the charitable work and kind of match those together, right?
Okay.
That's where we are. We know what's going on, at least kind of ideologically during this time period. But now I want to talk about a specific woman.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Giulia Tofana?
I don't know.
That's fine, because most people haven't either. Now, Tofana is sticking in your brain, and I know why.
Okay. Yeah.
But she's hard to find any information on. But this woman worked, all right? Like, she didn't just work. She also slayed.
Okay.
She worked and she slayed. Okay. So she's sort of a mystery. It's really hard to find, like, a lot about her online. And we'll get into possibly why later. A lot of it, once again, can't be proven. But big shout out to Bailey Sarian. I did get a lot of information from one of her murder and makeup videos that filled in a lot of the holes here. But here's what we can kind of put together. Widely accepted that Giulia Tofana was born in Palermo, Italy.
I do know her.
Yeah, I knew it would come to you.
Love Giulia Tofana. Do you know I have a t-shirt of hers?
I didn't know.
I will go change right now.
I mean, I trust you. You can post a picture of it for this episode, though.
Okay.
So we don't know what year she was born, but probably around 1620. We don't know a lot about her parents, but it is quite possible that Giulia was the daughter of a woman who was executed for murdering her husband. Now, that woman's name was Tofania. It was pretty common during this time to take, like, your mother's name as your last name.
I'm sorry. I just got so fucking pumped up because I love this.
Yes.
Okay.
So Tofania Diadamo, if it was her mom, was accused of poisoning a man with an arsenic concoction, and she was executed on the 12th of July, 1633.
I'm so excited.
So back to Giulia, though. From the descriptions we have of her, she was very beautiful, although there's no surviving portraits of her that can be found. But she's also really inquisitive, and she spent a lot of time at the local apothecaries, where she learned how to make her own meds and makeup and, you know, all the kind of drugstore items that an apothecary would have.
Queen.
She was also really, really into asking questions to figure out how to do things on her own. So she takes all the knowledge that she's learned and she opens up her own apothecary where she is going to help her clients with all of their ailments, from their terrible skin to their bastard fucking husbands. She was ready to make all their problems go away. You know where this is going.
I'm so excited for our listeners.
Giulia, with the help of her daughter and a few employees, began to build quite a brand for themselves, selling makeup and concoctions, like we said, to help women with their ailments. So, okay, we know it's olden times, but many of these items already had things like lead and arsenic in them that would help lighten your skin when applied. Or belladonna, you know, the highly toxic plant. If you just put like one drop in your eye, it would make your pupils dilate and you'd look really striking and beautiful.
That
kind of gives me like the whole radium thing, right? Remember, like, people put radium in fucking everything because they thought it was helping them. And yeah, now we have better understanding of what these substances do. But Giulia also got a pretty good understanding of them. So whether it was from her rumored mother or she's just started to kind of put things together on her own, Giulia starts to develop a new beauty product, which she aptly names. What does she name it, Kara?
Aqua Tofana?
Aqua Tofana. Yes. Okay. So this was sold sometimes as a powder, sometimes as a perfume, and it always, whether it was printed on the bottle or it came with a card, had an instruction manual on how to use it. And it was vague, right? Add 1 to 2 drops 1 time per day to your face.
I'm just like, I can't stop smiling.
It's an odorless, tasteless powder or liquid, but was really a super strong, devious poison that had the ability to both kill quickly and very sneakily.
She's so amazing.
I would say, are we just huffing? Was there more there?
No, love her.
Giulia was not happy with the fact that women couldn't pick their mates, nor could they leave them. And she, many of her friends were beaten and abused or left to die during childbirth. She said, fuck this shit. We ain't doing it. Anyways, Aqua Tofana comes about. So how does she get away with this? Or how does she do it, right? Very clever marketing.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a powder, it was a cosmetic. If it was a liquid, it was sold like a perfume, right? Like we said, always with that little instruction card, Aqua Tofana could be proudly displayed on a woman's dresser or anywhere else they kept their cosmetic items.
Yeah, you didn't have to hide it.
No. So the women were told that by adding 1 to 2 drops to their husband's soups, foods, wines, or other drinks, that it would take care of their problem, usually over the course of 4 total doses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The poisoning by Aqua Tofana would really go unnoticed. One, we've said it a couple times, it's clear and it has no taste or smell. It's also, while it's a fast-acting poison killing in 4 doses, its effects are very slow at first. So its symptoms revolve most progressive diseases or other natural causes of death. So like a really terrible flu. Now, for us, the flu doesn't typically kill, right? But back in the 1700s, it would. And this presents really similarly. So those poisoned by Aqua Tofana would report several symptoms. First, the first dose would produce cold-like symptoms. So most people were pretty unsuspecting that they had anything other than just like a minor bug going on. As these doses kept flowing, which, here's the thing, you could do it whatever way you wanted. Some of the women would do it over the 4 days. Some would do it all at once. Some would make it take even longer. But those ones who spread it out a bit knew what they were doing.
Yep.
So I'll tell you why there too. But the second dose of the poison would leave people really weak, and this languor would come in, and they would start to look really sickly. By dose number 3, you would be vomiting, you'd be dehydrated, you'd have diarrhea, watery butthole, and a burning sensation in your digestive system. Oh my God, let me try that sentence again.
Digestive system.
Burning sensation in the digestive system, which at this point, like many people are calling the doctor. Okay. So doctor comes in, they're going to prescribe the usual, medicine for flu symptoms, but the victim would just continue to get worse. And then the 4th would happen, and the death would occur, and the woman's ailment would be taken care of.
Alleviated.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Here's why I love the ones who did it slowly. Because it allowed time for those dying to prepare for their death. And this is, I think, where Giulia's genius brain really shines through.
Love her.
Because as the men realized they weren't getting better, they would often start to get their affairs in order. They would get a will together. They would start repenting and coming clean to their wives of other sins because, they wanted to go into death with a clean bill of soul. Yeah.
Oh, little fuckers.
Bill of soul. I don't even know where that just came from. I was going to say bill of sale, but bill of soul works, and I like that. I'm coining that. Okay. So back to Giulia, though, right? So she's running her operation. She's helping all these women poison their tyrants, which, it's tough. She is a killer. Well, is she the killer is also a question. But if we take out the ethics and morals of this, I think it's a pretty badass move. And
I personally think she's fucking incredible.
Right? It's hard to say that anybody who has, and we'll get into her toll, right? A death toll that she had is incredible.
I will say that in 2024, no, somebody doing this, I would not say is incredible because you can leave. You can do other avenues. But in this time, I think she's incredible.
I think the thing is the men really did deserve it. And she didn't just take word for it. She made sure.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because she had a whole system before she would even sell Aqua Tofana.
Oh, God. She's like what is it when you run a brothel?
Oh.
Like the madam or whatever, madam.
Yeah.
You know how the madam has a system and they make sure everything's good and cleared and you don't she's ooh. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Chef's kiss.
So her system, should we get into it?
Yes, please.
So most of her marketing happened by word of mouth, right? So by the time the women would get to Giulia and her employees to make their purchase, she had already vetted them. She would determine if the women were trustworthy enough to keep quiet about the poison. She would also validate the claims they would make about the men. So she would talk to all their friends and really check them out before she would sell. She was very careful about who she sold to.
Very, very smart businesswoman.
Very
she wasn't loosey-goosey, all willy-nilly, just giving her shit away. No, absolutely not. You were vetted.
I mean, she was so careful that from everything from what we could tell, is that her operation ran for 50 fucking years. 50 years.
Yeah. Without any type of like suspect or like questioning. Like she just like coasted, baby.
She was good. She did move a bit, right? So she started in Palermo, then she moved to Naples and finally settles in Rome, which is incredible. Like she's going to bigger and bigger cities. You would think like it would be the other way around, but ballsy. She would also keep changing how it was sold. So originally it was that powder for your face. Mm-hmm. Then it was the perfume, the Aqua Tofana. And I think the final iteration is comical in the best way, because she was selling it as the Manna di San Nicola, or Manna of St. Nicholas of Bari, as a devotional object similar to holy water. Here's the best part, though.
I love her.
Saint Nick, he is the saint of children and nubile maidens, which I think really fits because she was trying to protect the nubile maidens are basically women before they get married, right? And children, like it's just such a extra slap in the face that we named it after that saint. I love it.
Iconic.
So it wasn't just like the vetting though that let her get away with this for so long. She coached the women.
Oh yeah.
So she taught them how to add it to their meals without getting caught. She told them how to behave once their men started showing symptoms, right? So how to act upset, when to start acting more upset based on, you didn't want them to get cold symptoms and the wife to go, oh my God, he's dying. No, you have to kind of go with the disease.
She's so smart. And I know some listeners are going to be like, you guys are insane. And I understand that. I do get that. But you have to put yourself in the times. She is so fucking smart.
I think we can say a criminal's smart all the time without giving a viewpoint of what they're saying is good or bad.
But just even like to your point right now is just like the coaching of it, the like, hey, don't bring any more alarm. Act normal. It's a cold. It's just normal symptoms. So you're just taking care. You're just a helpful spouse, a loving spouse. You're just being the person that you would quote unquote normally be.
Now, as it got worse, though, she did coach them into, like, as they started to get really sick, right? On how to bring up, maybe you should start getting your affairs in order, right? When they passed, the women were also coached to always demand that the doctor do a postmortem examination. Because at this time, that poison was untraceable. So the results of the, exam were always the same. There was no evidence of foul play or wrongdoing. It just seemed like the normal course of action for this disease.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smart cookie.
Now the women basically get to walk away seemingly innocent. One of the last things, too, that she would coach them on to do is how to get them to confess to their other affairs and sins, right? And this was twofold. One, so that the woman felt vindicated in their decision. Yep. And two, this is Catholic Church 1600s, where the husband would be willing to come clean with those things because they needed the confession to get into heaven, right? So now the women not only feel vindicated in their choice, but they don't have to think about the fate of their past husband's souls. They don't have to be weighed down with that. They helped them get it off their chest.
And that's what is so incredible about her, because she's not, listen, she's not actually doing this to make these women feel better about it. She's making it possible that like, okay, yeah, cool. They feel better about their decision, but also they ain't gonna go rat and run around and in fucking, cause me trouble, because now they know that what they did is actually purposeful because they married or were forced to marry a piece of shit. And they know for sure now, even though they already knew, they know for sure now, yes, now it's off their conscience that they're going to go to heaven and it's going to be all right. Oh, yeah. And like, she's just left alone.
Now they're
so
good.
Fucking incredibly smart. Oh,
she's fucking genius, dude. She creates this like innocent, slow acting poison. She's trained the women, her employees, and the one she's selling to.
This is a great system.
It's the perfect crime. So much God. So that over 50 years.
Wait, hold on. Have you ever watched that movie?
Mm-mm.
It's so funny that you just said that, because The Perfect Crime is such a great movie. And it is Poison by Belladonna, which is kind of funny.
Oh, really?
Brought that up. It's a really good movie. It has Halle Berry in it. oh my God, what is his name? Oh my God, he's such a great actor. He was married to Demi Moore. Not Ashton Kutcher.
That's all I was thinking of.
He has all the kids with her.
Crowe?
No.
Russell Crowe?
No. It's okay. It's such a good movie. It's one of
Bruce Willis.
Thank you. Yeah, Bruce Willis, Halle Berry. It's one of my favorite movies, and I can't think of the actor. Whatever. It's such a good.
Okay.
It's okay. It's a great movie. No, really, it is a really good movie. It's one of my favorite ones. It's an older movie, but it's so funny because it is called The Perfect Crime, and she poisons people with belladonna. It's so
that
good.
is funny. Okay, I'll have to watch that one. But it was The Perfect Crime because over the course of 50 years, Kara, do you know how many people she killed?
Her list is long. Long.
It makes Elizabeth Bathory, one of those first ones we did, seem short.
Yeah.
H.H. Holmes looks like a saint next to her.
Oh, he was a saint, I feel like, to her.
600 people.
Yeah.
600 over 50 years.
I think she slept so very well, though.
I think she did, too. I don't think she felt a bit of remorse, and I don't know that she should.
And the only reason that I'm just so happy she vetted, man. She did her due diligence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like she was just giving this poison to anybody.
No, I love her. Oh.
So doctors start to catch on that something maybe a little devious is going on because the medicine that they would usually administer is not fixing these symptoms. And now you have to imagine over the course of 50 years, these doctors are kind of seeing the same thing over and over, but they couldn't pin it down. Not until 1650s when the entire thing comes crumbling down over a bowl of soup.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And one bitch.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't think we could call her that.
Fine.
I would just say probably she was Catholic. She struggled with guilt. So Giulia ends up selling to one woman, does all the usual coaching, teaches her how to get in the food. It was looking like a done deal. So the woman starts to prepare dinner for her hubby. She makes a nice hearty soup. She loads the Aqua Tofana into the soup, but she also dashed it with some regret. So as he loads up the spoonful, he gets ready to take a bite, and she starts yelling, "Don't drink the soup."
Yeah, panic. Ugh.
Right. And you know, you can't fault her for that. I mean, you're kind of at that, like...
No, I know. I can't actually call her a bitch, but like...
But also, come on. So her husband, being the very smart Renaissance man he is, decides something must be up if he's being yelled at not to eat the soup. So he does what
why would you be served it and then screamed at not to? It's like, come on now. You don't have to be smart to know that. I know, but like, come on.
That was all sarcasm. So he does what any strong Italian man would do and beats her until she tells him what's up.
Which right then and there should have been her reminder, fuck, I should have let him eat the soup.
Right. Like, just say it was too hot and she didn't want him to burn his mouth. Okay.
Right.
So instead, though, she confesses that she puts poison in it and he loses his shit.
I mean, as you would.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
So he takes her to the authorities in Rome. She's tortured. She spills the beans. The cat's out of the bag. And now Giulia's forced to make some moves. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there's most of this, right, comes from a few journals that mention Aqua Tofana, kind of hand passed down stories of Giulia. Like I said, we don't have a lot on her. So there's kind of two stories about what happens next that can be agreed upon. The first one, probably the most likely. The second one, the one that I hope for her. So the first story is that she gets a warning that everything's coming out and she needs to move. So she shuts down the operations. She separates herself from her employees, and her and the daughter need to decide what to do next. And they know what's coming if they get caught. Like, certainly she's going to be tortured and die. Mm-hmm. So she hits the road. We don't know where she was planning to go or how she was going to escape, but we do know on her way out of town that she goes to a church to find sanctuary, and they do surprisingly let her hang out there. That is until, people keep talking and find out that Giulia is at the church. At this time, though, a new rumor is spreading like wildfire. And I kind of feel bad for Giulia on this one, but people are freaking out. Now they're starting to put together just how many people she's killed, right? And they know she's on the run. So they start to say that she has poisoned the entire water supply in Rome with Aqua Tofana. So now you have just like an unruly mob, right? Because everyone is fear, panic, whatever. They storm the church, and the authorities basically force the church authorities, like the legal authorities, force the church authorities to give her up.
Yeah.
So this story ends with her being tortured until she confesses. And this is where she says between 1633 and 1651 that she kills over 600 men. She named some.
Yep.
But she could not remember many.
Well, and also I feel like to give her, I don't know, some sort of credit, like she didn't, why would she remember them? It's not like it was her vendetta against these men. So like, why would she remember any of them? It's just these like
also
horrified wives.
I couldn't tell you the name of clients I loved working with 6 months ago without looking at a list.
Same.
You know what I mean? So yeah, can't fault her for that. This was a long ass time. July 16th, 1959, Giulia, her daughter, and 3 employees are executed by hanging in the Campo dei Fiori, or Field of Flowers, which is a terrible name for a execution field.
Or, I don't know, it might be peaceful.
Right? Apparently this happens in front of a large crowd. And along with the 5 of them, so Giulia, her daughter, and the 3 employees, was a large number of the lower class clients who purchased the poison from her, not the upper class, because, you know, we don't execute those.
Why would we do that?
No, those are real people. The second story, which I'm more hopeful for our girl Giulia, is that she was never tried at all. And while we do know there was a huge poison ring that was busted that were executed, and a lot of people think that it is the Aqua Tofana, they can't find her name on a list that she was actually tried. And there's a historian named Mike Dash from the University of Cambridge who suggests that she likely died probably peacefully and before the others were tried and executed.
Yeah, I've heard both versions, and I hope for our girl she skirted on out.
He thinks that the clients and her employees stood trial without her, and she kind of just passed peacefully, which I hope for her. I think either way, though, she probably went down a proud woman. She
was fine. And also, she was older. If she was executed, like, for those times, she was an older lady. Like, she lived.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she did this for 50 years.
Yeah, she lived a good, quote unquote, life. And like you said, I think that whatever outcome it was, she would be proud and happy for it. I mean, like, she obviously knew that could be an outcome doing what she was doing.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love her. I have goosebumps. She's incredible. So my girl Bailey Sarian does a whole episode on her.
Her video's linked in below in the show notes for sure.
So her merch is the merch that I have, and it's Aqua Tofana. And I bought it years and years and years and years ago. Like, I mean, that episode's probably like 4 or 5 years old at this point. But it's so good. I just keep
hearing her throughout that episode.
Yeah, Aqua Tofana. And that's why she came up with the merch with it. So I should have worn my goddamn merch. But Giulia, chef's kiss. I'd ride for you. I'd work for you. I'd vet people with you.
Here's one thing I found really interesting. And this was actually in a comment on Bailey's video.
Oh, okay.
No matter where you look online, right? This is one of those ones we can't prove this. We don't know where she was born. There's no portraits. Okay. So apparently in Italy during this time, somebody commented there's a thing called damnatio memoriae.
Okay.
I can't speak Italian. It means damnation of memory. So it's a punishment from ancient Rome where every single thing about a person was destroyed so they couldn't be remembered in history.
Oh, which makes sense.
Yeah, they believe that being forgotten is actually worse than being just executed.
Oh.
Yes.
That makes sense. Ooh, who was that? Do you have who wrote that?
Yeah, that was by somebody named Giulia Marcelli 4569.
Wow, shout out. That's awesome.
Right?
That makes a lot of sense.
Now, there's another one that said just deleted user, which we don't know. But this, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but it gives a little more credence to it. So I found that Saint Nick was the protector of nubile maidens and children, but somebody else said, "Hi, Italian here. Just wanted to point out why disguising Aqua Tofana as the man of Saint Nicholas was particularly smart, because Saint Nicholas is believed to be the protector of young women preparing for marriage. So we can say that Giulia was indeed doing the saint's job." Okay. We do know, like we said, a lot of it comes from historians trying to piece things together. There's a couple bigger journals where Aqua Tofana was mentioned, 1 or 2 that had Giulia, but the one that people rely on giving the most credence to Aqua Tofana being a real, I don't know, do we call it an epidemic? A real thing that happened comes from the composer. And you may have heard of this man before. His name is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Ring any bells?
You know what? No, I've never have. Mm-mm.
He had actually been very worried that he had been poisoned with Aqua Tofana after he started suffering an unexplained illness in 1791.
Mister, what were you doing?
Right.
What shenanigans were you fucking doing?
Oh, I'm sure he was up to some shit.
Foul.
His exact quote is, "I am sure that I have been poisoned," Mozart wrote. "I cannot rid myself of the idea. Someone has given me Aqua Tofana and calculated the precise time of my death." So this is one of the few people who actually used it by name, which is how we know for sure that this was 100% a real product.
What's the name? Aqua Tofana.
Aqua Tofana. Mozart did indeed die a little bit mysteriously, but it was always, what did they say? It was like he ate undercooked pork. There's no proof that the infamous poison did it, but also we can't prove the poison. I have no idea,
but as soon as you said that like it triggered. So I think, listen, everybody was foul. If you had a penis, you were probably a foul human. Sorry.
I have a penis, and I think most men are awful.
Well, I'm not saying now.
You might not.
Well, what I would say now is if you have a vagina, a penis, and nothing down there, however you identify, you're awful. There are so many awful people in this world. I don't care what you have in your pants. You're awful. But I will say at that time, if you had a penis, you were probably more awful than anything else.
That is true. You were just privileged in your allowance to be more awful.
Yes, there you go.
All that being said, I know it's not Christmassy. I picked this one though for very specific reasons.
I love it.
Like I'm going to say it one more time. I do not condone what she did. I think she made the best choices given her circumstances at the time and probably helped a lot of women. I do not condone poisoning of people. However, what I do condone is people finding their own personal goddamn power. And in times when they feel like we might be repeating history or going backwards, we all have voices. We can all take action, and we do not have to let those in power keep us down. All right, off my soapbox. That's the story of Aqua Tofana.
Let me get on mine.
Okay, please do.
I do condone what she did. I will say it loud and proud. For that time, I 100% condone what she did. Because what you didn't go into, which is fine, is the detail of the horrific things that these women had to endure on a daily...
They were beaten, raped, died during childbirth. I mean, it was terrible.
On a daily fucking basis, these women had to endure this with no out. There's no out, right? So if we're going to talk about now, yes, we do have an out because there are things of divorce and it is not so frowned upon. And you know, we do have families that will still be there for us and not, again, like, you know, reprimand us or punish us for divorce or whatever.
Well, we currently have an out.
Well, yeah. So everybody get a divorce right now. So I do condone what she did. I do. And the reason that I can also like really back her is that she did vet everything. Mm-hmm. She didn't just, here you go. Here's this compact. Here's this perfume. Like, your husband's shitty. Cool. Here you go. She vetted and she did her due diligence. Like, she wasn't just giving this off to everybody. It was very researched and it was deliberate. Like, you were in an awful, awful predicament and I want to help you. And I know Taylor doesn't listen to our podcast, which is fine. She'll listen to this because I'll tell her to. But she reminds me so much of fucking Taylor. Ooh, girl, because that girl will fucking fuck you up. And when her rights were even thought of being taken away previously, she was like, you know what? It is my body. I'm going to do what the fuck I want with it. And I don't want children. And I know that. So I'm going to take care of it now before I fucking cannot. And yep. I just love this story. I'm so fucking happy that you did it.
It felt like the right time.
It feels like a very great time, and I don't want to get into too much because we'll just be here. I have full body.
I don't think we need to say.
I don't think we need to say anything else.
We'll condone the actions given the past for Giulia. We, for legal purposes, do not condone poisoning of people now. But
wish.
just remember, just because somebody's coming for your power doesn't mean you need to concede it. We can all use whatever we have in our arsenal to rise up to people in positions of authority.
Yeah.
All right. That's too fucking serious.
Well, here's also the thing is just, even if it's like, let's be on a lighter note, but if you don't have the means to get therapy and you don't have, there's just things that you can't. I'm not saying this, but join our Patreon, DM me on Instagram or us on Instagram or on Facebook.
I'm going to correct her. You don't have to join the Patreon to talk to us about it.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you can DM us but our Patreon, we do have some chats that I've started one that like give positive vibes. But you don't have to DM us. You don't have to do that. You can DM me, Zach, us on Instagram, Facebook. You can Snapchat us, I think, or whatever. We will talk to you. We will be there for you. We are not certified, but we are humans and we love. We might act.
We're all going into 2025 together, and we're all going to have different struggles. We would love to be here for you guys.
Yes, and oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. Fuck you, Zachary.
So Kara's gonna get her tears together. I'm gonna start wrapping us up. I think it feels weird asking for an emoji for this one, but I think a skull and crossbones.
Oh, or that. Yes.
Skull and crossbones and for the poison. Heart
Black
for,
heart.
being there for each other.
Black, though.
What else do the people need to do so we can close the shop up? Kara needs to dry her tears.
No, let's just love each other, appreciate each other. Let's just be here. Just do what you can.
Again, we are taking a break. We're going to be back with regular episodes at the end of January, but we are still online here for you guys.
Yes, we're still here for you. I will never.
January is going to be a tough one.
Yeah. So, we just love you. We appreciate you. We really, really, truly are here for you. Let us help you if we can. Whatever you need from us, please. But yeah, that's all. I don't even know what else to say. The most
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. The most important thing that you can do is to creep a real oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.